Yes, indeed. Prince Pierre coming at y'all with a lie. So I'm making another Garrick's Game Show Improv Live. What's up with it? Hope everybody enjoying tonight. Hope everybody watching the game. Yeah, you know, just wanted to talk about this situation that happened down now in McKinney, Texas, home of the trial. Collin County versus Karmelo Anthony. We already know what happened. We know that he got 35 years. He got to do 17 and a half before he's eligible for parole. But we're getting a little more information as we go when it comes to this case. Key to this case is that the lawyers, the defense team, did a shitty job. The appeal process is not looking good for Karmelo Anthony, because during that trial, that defense did not object. When they was using the word knife, they never objected because it wasn't a knife. So they supposed to eject that and strike that from the record every time. The defense did not bring in mitigation specialists, didn't bring in specialists to analyze. Heard it was also that Karmelo was at that same place a week ago. So on the 2nd, the week before, April 2nd of 2025, that he was also there at that same tent. And the only difference is that the Metcalfs wasn't there at that particular meet. And it was no problem with him being under that tent at that day. So there was a lot of qualifying factors that was omitted in this trial by the defense that put this case where it was no doubt. A lot of the testimonies and everything, they were all changed statements from the original statements. So basically, people got on the stand and perjurized themselves. So the defense attorney, they didn't do their job. This was a lynching by his own defense. Prosecutions are do their job. Their job is to get a conviction. That's their job. Okay? I can't get mad at what the prosecution did, because that's what they do. So I'm not mad at them. Even the Kent guy, they got Chow off the week before, which was last Monday or Tuesday, whatever day. When they was doing jury selection, Chow just got off. He even said via TikTok, I follow him on TikTok, I had to. He even said that a defense case is one of the easiest cases to actually win. It's not hard. And he can probably really vouch for that. He got a motherfucker off for shooting somebody in the back. And only reason Chow got off is because the kid, when he fell down, a gun came out of his pocket. Only reason he got off. That kid had no gun, he gone. He wouldn't got off that case, because the question comes up. But prosecution couldn't strike that from the record in that particular case to get the conviction, because now all they need is doubt. You know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not playing one. Have I been in some trouble in my life and I know what they went through? Not to this level, But I had 2 cases. I had to plea on one, and I beat one. One was 6 months probation, and one was, case getting dropped. So, ain't nobody omitted from being in the system. And the first one, I wasn't finna do no goddamn bullshit ass motherfucking me plea deal. First one I had got, this happened in 2003. So it was 2004 when I had to deal with them. Shit, I didn't have to do probation and shit until like August. But shit, let me see when I had to do all this shit. Yeah, they called me up and it was happened in September. So they continued with it like a couple of months down the line. Supposed to went to court like in December. They continued it into January and then deal with it until March. Then they said, hey, you got to pay this $200 and something, or you're going to have to do community service. I say, give me an hour, I have your money. I'm back. Somebody called me. It's all right, man. I don't speak Spanish. I know Espanol over here. So, got to build my audience back up. It happens sometimes. But there was a lot of litigating factors in this case. Now, cut and dry. Cut and goddamn dry. Based off what the prosecution say, we really can't fight 35 years in prison. Okay? That's standard. That county is a little pushy. But the problem was, I have to agree with Charleston, these civil rights bandits and these NAACPs, these people don't help. They don't help. I heard it was, if he did beat the case, that they was going to pop him, but he would have got out of that, and he would have had to go incognito somewhere. He would have probably would have had to leave the country for a couple of years, if he won this case, just to put that out there. But I digress. He didn't win the fucking case. So we got to stick to the facts. Okay? So when you look at this case, it was really split down the middle. I think it was 80-20. 80-20 black folks believe the kid, but be 80-20 on the BLK side, the black side. Foundation of Black Americans pretty much said he pretty much was self-defense, 80%, and then you had 20% that said he guilty. On the other side, you had 80-20 on the white side that said he did it, and it was 20% whites that said they think he was innocent, think it was self-defense, and that's how it was, I heard. Okay. Okay, it is how it is. So what happens in these situations is here, it became a race game. Anytime a race game come, and the modern day white person, just to let y'all know, if you consider them racist, they will play it on you. There was a time when you used the race card on them, they would try to show they ain't. They know that they can't escape it. Got a president in the White House. Niggas was cool with this president. Okay, when he was just a rich real estate tycoon. The culture loved this motherfucker. But soon as CNN, MSNBC, even Fox start putting out allegations that he was down with these people, and down with this group, and down with these people, and down with them people, which he wasn't down with, it was over for him. And he had an R by his name. So it is what it is, right? If he was able to run on the Democratic plantation, he would have had it easier, right? But that was already hedged over there. He wasn't getting in through them. All right. So, but I digress. And the race games get the plan. And you can't win a race game. White man can win the race game because he can control it. He can control the narrative. Black folks can't win a race game, so you don't want to play race games. We're at a disadvantage when it comes to the race game. It's called racism, white supremacy, by the way. It's called the 9 pillars of it. We don't control law. We don't control law. We can play it and control it if we got lawyers and litigators and mitigation specialists and people that can speak for you. If they paint a narrative that this kid saved the kids' lives, did a lot of heroic things, and then something came to him, unfortunately, where he was backed in the corner. And he knew who those kids was. Those kids had, their hands was registered. They were participants in MMA. You got documented evidence that even Austin beat his own daddy's ass. So they was pretty much a violent family. So it was a lot of factors that never came to play. Because the key to a defense attorney, even though the case Karmelo Anthony was on trial, the defense attorney is to actually put Austin on trial because he cannot rebut himself. The family is not going to testify. If you played it properly, Hunter would have had to get up there on that stand and say something, and then could have blew the whole case up. Couldn't put Karmelo on the stand because he's a defense. He don't have to go on there because the prosecution has got the burden of proof. Now Karmelo, that's just years of, that's just 40, that's about 35 years of knowing. Well, I say 21 years of just peeping cases out over the years. You know, the same narrative has always come. Same narrative, same narrative, same narrative. Prosecution this. Prosecution got to prove this. Prosecution got to prove that. Defense has got to bring up the doubt. So you ain't got to be an expert. You can just know by past history of cases. Now, am I privy to the information like a Charleston would have? No, I'm privy to it, but I'm not privy to the inside information. Because, yeah, I can go read all them documents, but it's still nuance. Nuance ain't in documents. You know what I'm saying? Nuance is not there. It never will be. I wasn't there. There was a chance I could have went and saw all that back in 24. Yeah, I could have went down there. Well, no, it was last year. My bad. Back in 25. And you could went down to Frisco, and you could have saw the viewing of the tape. There were a lot of people to come see it, and they got too influx with too many people. Then they shut that down. They did that for like a month or two. Then they shut that down. It was like people had like a 6-week wait to hurry up and shut that down. So a regular citizen, content creator can go in there and watch it. And everybody that watched that tape, the original tape, based off their testimony and based off their opinion, not mine, said that it looked like Karmelo was in the right in that situation of self-defense. Yeah, he was just trying to get him to back up off of him. For that thing to really go like that, for him to really penetrate that plate and really get through to his heart, you know, it was a simultaneously coming like this. It wasn't this. It was this. So somebody rushing, it's going through. Because sometimes you got to stand. But if you goddamn me, as soon as you put your hand out there and hit him, and he coming, it's like somebody getting knocked out. Some people getting knocked out because they run into punches. Ran into that one. But see, there was a lot of factors that wasn't put in his case. And that's why he been do 35 years in prison. That's why the appeal process is going to be hard. They got to find something, because probably they're going to keep the same. The county is locked down right now. You go back there with that appeal, it take about 3 to 6 months for appeal to come back. You file the appeal, you got to go in there. Costs $120,000, something like that, for appeal to be met. I think it wasn't enough money raised in this case. I think $600,000 wasn't enough money. I think you could have got a better lawyer. It was other lawyers that they did meet that turned the case down because they felt like they couldn't win the case. They think so. I look at the game like this here, you know. So when we see everything that went down in this case, you know, you had another case in a neighboring county with somebody, same situation. It was in a school, and the person only got 2 years. You know, I don't know. He got 2 years. He had to plead. He only get 2 years. So that's the only way you're gonna get 2 years. You had to plead. You're not going to trial and win. Come on. You get 2 years. So they play it out. So some people say they think the kid should have played out. You know, probably the only way he was gonna win this case. Only way he was gonna probably get a manslaughter charge, and the manslaughter Mike had only did 10, and he could have got out in 5. So he got out in 31. He could resume his life. He'd be in his 20s. He could move on if this case was that bad. But people thought that, hey, it was a chance, that it was self-defense. But it was hard to get a self-defense in this case because it was a lot of circumstantial situations. The father is cool with the people. Father was cool with the DA, cool with the judge. You know, it was a small county, so it was cool with them people. So when you start hurting their friends and shit, and the friends' family, I mean, it's gonna be rough. But the key to this damn trial still come back to an inadequate and insufficient defense. Defense was terrible, man. The defense was just not any good. That was a kangaroo court. Was no objections. We don't know if he object to everything. I'm not going to even trip on the jury because the defense have to agree to a jury. So they sit in the jury, and you probably have 30 people to pick from to get to 12. They're going to eliminate, 18 of them. Right? Sometimes it's 20. Okay? Sometimes it's 30. Eliminate 18 of them to get to 12. They got down to the last 15 jurors. And they had 3 black ones, and the rest was white. Well, it really wasn't enough. When you got down to the last 15 jurors, or the last, 15 jurors, you needed 6 black, to really get the thing, to really get it where you want to get it. Okay? A lot of people, when they get to jury selection, get called to jury duty. Majority of people don't want to do it. You know that, right? A lot of them want to get disqualified, but you're not going to get disqualified. 12 is going to listen to this case. So when they got the 12 to listen to this fucking case, these niggas is crazy. And all I got to say is, wasn't enough money raised, in my opinion. It just wasn't enough money raised. You know, it should have been raised almost probably $5 or $6 million for this case to really get a Johnny Cochran type of lawyer. You're going to go get a real bad motherfucker. Probably one of them bad New York litigators, one of them cold ass California litigators, a Houston litigator, or a Dallas Fort Worth litigator. One of them bad motherfuckers. Now, the Howard guy is supposed to be a good lawyer, but I don't think he's a bulldog. He's not a pit bull. He's not a bull mastiff. He's not a lion. He's not a bear. He's not gonna go in that motherfucking mall of goddamn prostitution. He ain't gonna go over there and find angles like he supposed to. He supposed to just found him an angle. Because all you do is case study. All lawyers do is go get other cases that's similar to this case. This is what they do. They go find 10 cases. They find 5 that won and 5 that lost. And the 5 that reason they lost is what they kind of avoid. What their case argued, what the defense argued, what the prosecution argued, how the prosecution did it, what the defense did wrong. So you find everything they did wrong. Then you go and find the other 5 that the defense won. You can find it in that county too. Right? You can find case studies in that same county as well. They ain't been having cases like that all the time. It's just a big case, right? Could be a small case, could be a dope fiend case, could be all kind of cases, right? So what happens is, that's what you do. They do that. They find 10 cases, find historical cases, find cases that match it, all that, and they compare them. They study each one. They study the penal code, the statute. They go to the damn Black Law Dictionary, go to the law books. They find the law. They find the loopholes in the law. They compare and contrast to the law, and then they come with a plan. And then they know how to go fight. And then they already know how to counter what they gonna do. So they already got a counter. This defense didn't counter shit. Because if they was really countering, this trial would be still going on right now. It would have went 2 weeks, and it probably wouldn't have went over if they really fought. Because to kill a case like this, the longer it goes, and you hold people up out their natural lives, they're going to get what you call, they're going to get in a trance of the case, and they're going to get invested in the case, and then, boom, every time that lawyer, the defense attorney talk, he got a narrative he pushed, even through his questioning, you know. It'd be one question he always asks everybody, probably 2 to 3. Paints a narrative that this kid. So within the question of him, do you know Karmelo Anthony? How long you know Karmelo Anthony? Have you seen him before? What kind of mannerism does this kid have? How does he conduct himself? Woo. So when you get to starting, right, then you get into the real questions of the day. Then you come back again and you wrap it up. And then there's a question that you can't ask. Do you think it was self-defense? That's supposed to be objected, struck from the record. Can't answer that because why? He's not a specialist. I ain't hear no specialist who was on the stand. Somebody just took somebody's $720,000. Now what a lawyer say, that's what $700,000 buy. So when you sit with a lawyer, when you hire a lawyer gonna tell you. Like most lawyers that I talk to, I done had some bad ones, didn't do shit. I had 2 didn't do shit by me. It's a crapshoot when you hire lawyers, man. You try to get the best litigation motherfuckers you can find. Sometimes you find motherfuckers that ain't gonna fight, man. I had one situation, you know what I'm saying, lawyer didn't do shit. Had 2 situations, lawyer didn't do shit. You know, didn't do a damn thing. Had to deal with that shit. So I said, man, ain't nothing we can do. Well, no, nothing we can do. You just took my money, huh? I tried to find other lawyers around there, but they wouldn't touch it, right? So, you know, it happened like that. So you get lawyers that won't touch the case. So I've been in the system, homie. I just beat my shit. Because I don't let people tell me what to do. Now, sometimes you have to take their advice. Like 2003, the first thing they came with, they said, yeah, they want to give you 2 years probation. I'm not doing no 2 years probation. Hell no. Then the next time they came with 18 months probation. They did another condition. They said we do 6 months probation. It's adjudicated probation. You can get it expunged right afterwards. I said I took that. I took that. They had me there the rights, so I really couldn't go to trial on that. So, or I would have went to state jail for 18 months. I did 2 years in state jail. I went to state jail. So that's what they said they were gonna send me. They were gonna send me to state jail. Well, I'm not going to jail for nothing. So I had to do. So I did the 6 months. You know. Told him, man, I worked every day. I worked 12 hours a day. Now I can come to the, you know, I can come meet you every month and I had to pay the little 50 funky ass dollars. So what I did was on my route, I go do my route, and then when I do my route, I drive over there. So I usually tell them, hey, you know, give me a Fort Worth route. Give me a Fort Worth route. Hey, give me a Fort Worth route. You know, I tell them like on a Monday or Tuesday when I had to go. So I had to meet every 5th or 6th of the month, something like that. And I just tell the route man, give me a route over there. Give me a route in Arlington. Give me a route in Dallas. Give me a route in Arlington, Fort Worth. Give me a route in Bedford, you know what I'm saying, or Benbrook or whatever. Give me a route over there. So they always give me a route in that area on that particular day. So what I would do was go run my route. And I had to be there between a certain amount of time. I had to come between 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. So they gave me a window. And I go in there and I report. Park my little old motherfucking truck over there, go in there and report. My job didn't even know about it. You know? Shit, they didn't even know about it. I just told them, man, I need to take a day off, 2 days, let me take a day off. Call them up, yeah, I need to take a day off. You know, early that morning, I called them, I need to take a day off. All right, I'm sick. Come on in. Got bonded out, went to work. They'd have knew I went through what I went through, I would have got fired. I was able to keep that down. You know, I don't tell people my business unless I got to. I wouldn't, you know. Another situation here. Shit. So, then the next trial. Is it compared to this? No, it's just going through the system, though. That's going to give me some time to build for these cases. 35 years, no, because I ain't killed nobody. If I kill somebody, I'll be locked up. I ain't got no goddamn $700,000 motherfucking dollars. You know what I'm saying? To beat no damn case like that. That's going to cost some money. Yeah, them M trials and murder trials, they big money. That $1 million law, that $1 million, bro. You're going to have to pay, man. That's what they do. Like I said before, where am I? I'm in Chicago. I'm in the suburbs. I'm just telling y'all right now, it's real shit. And I don't give a fuck about no race games and nothing. I don't play race games. Yeah. So that's my take on that. I'm gonna get out of here for a little bit. I'll probably come back on a little later. But I'm just telling y'all the game that the most important thing that we really need to understand about this case is you have to hire adequate defense attorneys. I think that that didn't raise enough money. When you raise money, man, you have to let people know what you're trying to raise, and you got to, like, people buying cars, people buying houses. We don't need to do that shit, bitch ass nigga. Let me get that out the way. Put money toward the case, so they could have hired a better lawyer. You know. And then those civil rights attorneys didn't turn them on to no good lawyers. Them niggas didn't do shit. I don't need you grandstanding. You want to come meet with me, talk to me in private. I don't want no grandstanding. I'm not going to allow you to grandstand on my son, man. You're not going to pray raise games so you can go get you some money. You know? And that's all they be doing. But I'll talk about this a little later. I'm out.